Part 1. The Chords Are Woven. 2010-2013. Chapter 1. What God Has Joined. Marriage is not a noun. It is a verb. It is not something you get. It is something you do. It is the continuous work of two people becoming. Quote, Barbara de Angelis. The harmattan came early to Monrovia that January. The dry Saharan wind pushing down from the north and settling over the city like a thin veil of red dust. It blurred the outlines of the apartment blocks along Tubman Boulevard and coated the okra on market women's trays with a fine grit that tasted of the Sahel. Children sneezed and wiped their noses on their sleeves. Old men wrapped cotton around their mouths. The city, as always, continued. At Calvary Christian Center, the wedding of Samuel Colley and Grace Quarshie had begun 45 minutes late, an achievement of remarkable punctuality by Liberian standards. The sanctuary was full, or as full as a sanctuary can be when half the invited guests arrived and the other half sent word by motorcycle that they were coming. They were coming. They were almost there. God willing. The plastic chairs were arranged in careful rows. The choir wore matching gold and cream. The generator, rented for the occasion at a price that had caused Samuel's best man to wince visibly, hung beneath the floor like a contained promise. Samuel stood at the front of the church in a dark blue suit that he had bought from a Lebanese merchant on Broad Street. The jacket a half size too large. The trousers pressed with a discipline that spoke of serious intention. He was 31 years old and had the kind of stillness that people sometimes mistook for peace. It was not peace. Samuel Colley had not known peace, real peace. The kind that settles in the body and lets a man breathe all the way down, since he was 12 years old and soldiers came to his village in Lofa County. He did not think about Lofa County on his wedding day. He had learned, across the years, not to think about it at all. Grace came down the aisle on her uncle's arm because her father was in Grand Cape Mount and could not afford the transport. A fact that Grace had absorbed with the matter-of-fact resilience that characterized everything she did. She was 27, small and deliberate in her movements. Wearing a dress her market women's cooperative had collected money to help her buy, white with lace at the collar and wrists. More formal than her own taste but appropriate to the occasion. She held a bouquet of artificial flowers because real ones wilted in the harmattan heat before you could get them to church. She was not nervous. People later said they were surprised she was not nervous. But Grace would have found it difficult to explain why nervousness did not visit her on that morning. She had thought about Samuel for 3 years. She had prayed about Samuel. Had fasted about Samuel twice. Had asked God for a sign and then, when the sign was ambiguous, had decided that ambiguity was itself instructive, that she was being asked to choose with her full self, not to be given certainty. And she had chosen. She had chosen the man standing at the front of the church, with his too large jacket and his not quite peace. She had seen, in him, something that she could not fully name. A quality of contained suffering that called to something in her own chest. A recognition. She did not know, on that January morning, what exactly she was recognizing. She would not know for several years. Pastor Emmanuel Flomo Sr., father of young Emmanuel, who would himself marry Blessing in 3 years' time, presided with the gravity appropriate to a man who had performed 42 weddings and buried 31 of those marriages in subsequent years. He did not share this statistic with his congregation. He shared, instead, Ecclesiastes 4:12, which he had used at every wedding for the past decade because it was true and because, in its truth, it contained everything he knew about what he was watching. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. He said. The church said amen. Grace's aunt said amen twice. God is the 3rd strand. You are the other 2. Without God, he paused here for effect, without God, my brother and my sister, you are only 2 chords. And 2 chords, when the pressure comes, can fray. Quote, Samuel said his vows looking directly at Grace. His voice even and measured. Grace said her vows looking directly at Samuel. And her voice broke once, not from fear but from the full weight of what she was doing. The full weight of choosing a person and being chosen by them. Of standing inside the biggest decision of her adult life and feeling its size. When the pastor said, "You may kiss the bride," Samuel kissed her gently, with the restraint of a man performing a public action he had not quite rehearsed. And the congregation cheered and the choir began a song, and outside the harmattan wind blew dust against the windows and the generator hummed. 2. The Togba household,